Okay, this is one of about 15 different letters I produce daily in Word. It is a Microsoft Word 2016 Office 365 download. So I think believe it's the most current version. And just so you know, this is sort of what I do throughout every single newsletter every day. The first thing I will do is I will change the date at the top. Sometimes I'll use Dragon Speak to do this. Other times I'll just type it in, depending. I have a header here that's actually inserted into a text box. I will send this document actually with the link to this recording so you can have a look-see. These are all text boxes. This is a support resistance column. These numbers change daily. Not all of them, but many of them. And there's a repetition here, so I'm going to throw that out there as well. I have an asterisk next to each minor point. I use the word minor next to it. I've got 3 asterisks next to a weekly containment level. And this is the same format throughout all of my letters. And I don't know, I'm just sort of throwing out there that if this part, which is the same constantly and has been for years, this star space, 3 spaces, then session containment, this 3 stars, then a single space, then weekly containment. If that could somehow be macroed or some sort of a button up at the top where I could click and insert, that would be great. Then I don't have to type that out. And they're emboldened. Some are emboldened. The big levels are emboldened. Others are not. So there's that, and that's all inserted in a invisible text box. This chart is contained within a text box that I've created a green border around. Now, the imagery for this text box I can take from one of 2 sources. The one that it's currently laid out in has not been working very well lately. I don't know what happened, if it was the new Word version or what, but I will click on it. I will right click. I'll go to Metastock Edit, and it'll take me it'll call up all this, and if I pull up the Word document, you'll see that it completely gets discombobulated. That didn't happen several weeks ago, and so I don't necessarily need a fix for this because I am going to abandon this program, I'm quite sure, at the end of the year, and this is not the only reason why. But I thought if you happen to know of a quick fix for why that occurs, that would be fine. I have to then set everything up and make it all look pretty and well laid out. And so there you have it. I will change these numbers day to day and then reset up this chart so that it's updated to correspond with the numbers on the right hand side. So there's another one. I don't know if there's any way that I'll get to that in a moment. I also change these numbers pretty much every day, and these numbers are always found in this column. And then I have the text. The text is contained in text boxes. I spend a fair amount of time, once I'm done with the text, of resizing this text box. For instance, today my text might be 2/3 the length of this particular text box, in which case I would need to, narrow this text box. I have a sort of a visual policy, if you will, that the left-hand text box is of equal to the right text box, and if I can't do that, then it will be lower than. In other words, I never have it look like this. Let's just put it that way. I never have it look like you've got a higher line, bottom line, than the right text box. If there's a lower line that between the 2 boxes, it'll always be on the left side. I just think that visually looks better. And then there's the lining up of text boxes. This has been a pain lately, especially with the newer version of Word. Getting it to line up perfectly. I think half the problem are these little circles. They don't allow you to really see whether you're lining up perfectly. So you can see there, it's like it's the bottom box is too long by just a smidgen. So then I'm sitting here and spending way too much time, probably a full minute on each letter, just sizing it. There is a page 2 for most letters, and I guess this gets to my next point, which is to say, I'm open to anything. If it's the recreation of a new template, What I would love to see happen is every time I change this number, for instance, 973.75, that anywhere else in the document, let's say that this number changes today from 973.75 to tomorrow's letter of 972.00. And so when I change this to 972.00, for instance, I'm going to change it back so I don't forget. But if I change it to 972.00, it would be wonderful if within this text box, every instance, you can see here I have 973.75, if it would also just automatically change to 972.00. Also here from 973.75 to 972.00. Now I do know that there's a feature in Word that allows you to replace with. However, from what I can tell, it will not do throughout the text boxes. It will only do it in a single text box. It will not do it throughout the document itself. I'm open to, if there's a template that is more streamlined, more amenable to a more rapid completion of the daily material, but would require, from your point of view, sort of a different look. I'm open to that. I'm not completely attached to this look, although, you know, I've had the header was designed by a graphic artist, and that is sort of my look on my website. That would be nice to keep. There you go. See, this does it. That just happened automatically. I'm going to go ahead and click back. I'm going back here, and there we have it, 973.75. Sorry about that. I've digressed. I don't know if I can. I'm trying to think of anything else I might say. I do have a footer, but I move it around. It'd be nice if that automatically just snugged up underneath whatever I've got. So for instance, the text height will change. In other words, sometimes the text is reduced, sometimes it expands, in which case I'm constantly moving this footer around on certain newsletters. I do believe that's about it. You can certainly call me, and please do, with questions, or email me. By the way, the header is a single graphic that's also dropped into a text box, if I haven't mentioned that already. The date exists within a text box. This setting, this number, this changes every few months from November then to January, blah, blah, blah. These are all commodity futures markets. So I think that's about it. I will post this. I think I'll just put on a kind of a YouTube. Nobody's going to see this other than you. And then we can go, you know,